Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, word to my brethren in Canada, word to my brethren in Sweden. Shout out to both those places in the world. And speaking of Canada, speaking of Sweden, wanted to talk about a fight that was recently announced by when Showtime announced their first quarter schedule. To me, probably the most intriguing matchup out of all the fights they announced. Um, and we're talking about Badou Jack versus Adonis Stevenson. Now, this is a fight I'm very excited for. You got Adonis Stevenson, who's been a guy that years ago he was knocking out the likes of Tony Bellew. He was knocking out the likes of Chad Dawson, Fonfara, guys of that nature. But been holding the title hostage. Didn't want to fight Kovalev. Um, been pretty much beating up on journeyman, and ultimately has had a rather unspectacular reign as lineal champion and WBC champion of the light heavyweight division. So with that being said, man, this Badou Jack fight, I'm glad it got made. I hope it happens. Scheduled for May 19th, and that'll be in Canada in Adonis Stevenson's hometown. And there's a lot of intrigue for me for this fight. For the simple fact that we haven't seen Adonis in there with a live body in quite some time. Two, Badou Jack coming off of a sensational victory in his debut fight at light heavyweight, where he fought where he stopped Nathan Cleverly in 5 rounds. So Nathan Cleverly, a former world champion, a good fighter, solid fighter. Badou Jack was able to get him out of there before the halfway point of the fight. It's clear to see that Badou Jack's power has carried up to the weight, and that's the kind of opponent I would like to see him in there with. Badou Jack, I've been very impressed with his progression over the last couple of years. You go back to look at his last 4, 5, 6 fights. Capture the super middleweight title in a close fight against Anthony Durrell. Beat George Groves in a close fight. Beat the likes, or I thought he had a good showing against James McGill, but got a draw. Had a great fight, had a great performance against Nathan Cleverly, and then actually got credited for a disqualification win against Lucien Boutte, because I think there might have been a fight where Boutte tested positive or something. I could be wrong though. Let me see. Yeah, Boutte failed the doping test, and they changed the outcome of the fight, and it was a DQ win in favor of Jack. So he's coming out with a good string of wins. Even in the Boutte fight, I thought he deserved the decision when it actually happened. So Badou Jack's been progressing, and mind you, when he was at 168, he was fighting a lot of those fights weight drained. So he wasn't really able to show everything he could do, and I think in the Cleverly fight, he began to show a little bit of what he can do. And while he's not the most, I'm gonna say sensational fighter defensively, like he's not moving his shoulders a lot. He blocks a lot of punches. He's really good at blocking punches. He's not the easiest guy in the world to hit. He's a rather accurate puncher, and now at the new weight, his power has carried up, and that's a dangerous opponent for Adonis Stevenson, a guy that's been used to fighting guys who don't hit back. Now, I will say this about the fight: with the way Badou Jack defends punches. A lot of times, I'm not the biggest fan of fighters who do this, but Badou Jack seems to have seems to be pretty good at it. He's one of the few fighters in boxing that seems to be pretty good at it. But he'll move forward and he'll just kind of go into his shell and block punches without really throwing much back. And see, if he fights that way against Adonis Stevenson, I don't know, because Adonis Stevenson has the kind of power to punch through your guard, the kind of power to knock you off balance if you go into a position like that. So. For Badou Jack, it's just about making this guy have to question himself, because fighters know, man. Fighters know what they're in there with when they're in there with them. You look at the guys Adonis Stevenson has been fighting. Let's go through it. As of late, he fought. His last fight was against Andre Fonfara, who was not too far removed from an ass whooping against Joe Smith. So he wasn't, it is what it is there. Lost that fight. Fought a guy, Thomas Williams Jr., who's a lower level fringe contender. Stopped him. Tommy Karpensi, mismatch, stopped him. Saki Obika, didn't stop him, but another guy he should beat. He's been fighting a lot of journeyman fighters, past their prime fighters, and this is a guy, Adonis Stevenson, who had a lot of potential to truly separate himself as the number 1 light heavyweight in the world, but didn't make the Kovalev fight happen. Has yet to fight any one of the other younger top light heavyweights, and has pretty much held the WBC title hostage. So for Badou Jack, I'm looking at a guy in Badou Jack who, when you go back and you look at his career, early on in his career, he took a tough loss to Derek Edwards. He had a draw with Marco Antonio Paraban. I believe, let me see if my memory is correct. I believe he had a split decision with Alexander Brand. And yes, he had a split. So he wasn't Badou Jack wasn't one of those pros right away that looked good. He was kind of like a late bloomer in the sport as far as when he started hitting his peak. Because he's not a young guy. Badou Jack is 34 years old, and this is the fight for him where he could really it could be his coming out party. Like he's had some good wins, but it could really be his coming out party to stake his claim and be like, yo, I'm here. You guys knew I was a good fighter, but now I'm a great fighter because I beat Adonis Stevenson. So I'm looking forward to it. For Adonis, it'll be his chance to just like remind us if he's got anything left against someone of note, because the dude has not been fighting the top guys, and he's really not a very well respected champion. Probably the most underpublicized and least talked about lineal champion in any weight class in the history of boxing, and that's quite sad because Adonis Stevenson is a tremendous talent. Little on the older side now, but he's a tremendous talent. You know, he was schooled and trained very well by Emmanuel Stewart, greatest boxing trainer of all time, and I think his like no matter what happens the rest of his career, unless he fights Kovalev or becomes undisputed or something of that magnitude, he's a talent that's gone unfulfilled. But you know, it's still a good fight for him, and looking forward to seeing how it happens. So I know Badou Jack is going to be someone that a lot of boxing fans root for. I'll probably be rooting for him because I don't like how Stevenson has handled holding that title. So, you know, it is what it is. He's held the belt hostage, and Badou Jack can do boxing a big favor and get rid of a guy that ultimately I don't want to say is a paper champion because he did beat some good fighters to get that title and defended it against the likes of Bellew, but he's becoming a relevant champion, an irrelevant title holder. That's what he is. So yeah, man, looking forward to the fight. And let me know who you guys think is going to win in the comments down below. Is Adonis Stevenson past his prime and just past it in general, or does he still have something left in the tank to offer Badou Jack outside of that left hand, because he's really a one-handed fighter. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Tiffin Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.